Hey all you gamers, stick around and I'm going to show you what I believe is one of the strongest builds in Minecraft Dungeons at the moment. Coming up next.
Pew, 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 pew. Whee.
Welcome back everybody. So if you saw at the start there, I'm not using the conventional. A lot of people at the moment are using the fighter's bindings. I've gone with something slightly different. I like something that hits a little bit harder. It's not quite as fast, but if you have a little look at the numbers, I think they pretty much speak for themselves. And how about if we change it up a little bit? Put a bit of speed in there. 19,000. How about if we chuck on a gong? So now if we have a little look, 57,399 it crits for. Now that is an absolutely massive number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay on fighting some of the bosses, and then I'm going to show you what I'm using and how you can actually improve upon this number and all the stuff that I've got on my character. So let's get through that now, shall we? Here we are in the Fiery Forge. This is on Apocalypse 6, and I'm going to show you a brief overview of some of what this gear can do. Now the great thing about this build is its flexibility. So look, we're getting outnumbered here. Switch over to the bow. Melts them like butter. You want a bit of melee? Go in with melee. We're not using any of the power-ups, the artifacts yet, because we just don't need to as such. So if you have a look here, perfect example. There is nothing getting through that, and that's just our long range gear. That's our backup. Here we have the Enderman. Had the Enderman. Right, so let's show what the axe can do, shall we? And now we're going to see the boss. How do we think he's going to fare? Now look at that. So how about if I tell you this build is not fully complete and you can knock him down a lot faster than that. Now remember, this is Apocalypse 6. This is the toughest things you can get. So I'm going to go back and I'll show you the build guide. Right, so here we are back at base, and I'll just quickly go over what I've got on my bars. So I've got a totem of regeneration, a gong to lower their defense, and a mushroom to raise our speed a little bit. So then you're basically, if you're fighting a boss for example, slam all three on. And the boss is gone. Doesn't matter who he is, he's gone. Also, if you wanted to, you could quite easily kill the boss with this. Watch how fast this actually shoots. That is everything in the room gone. And without further ado, let's get to the build. Right, so we have on, in my opinion, this is in the top 2 sets of armour in the game. It's the Renegade armour. Now this gives you a fair chunk of health, plus 25% melee attack speed, which is absolutely amazing, because it gives you a little chance to break away from the fighter's bindings, because everyone pretty much uses that because it's so powerful. But I like this a little bit better, to be fair. 35% damage reduction and 20% weapon damage boost aura. So if you're playing with friends, you'll give them an extra 20% as well. And I believe it affects yourself, so 20% extra for yourself and 20% for everyone in your party. And then for the bow, you really want to get one of these, harp crossbow. Now it fires 5 darts, and to be fair, there's nothing that I've found that's anywhere near as good at destroying huge mobs or waves, hordes of enemies. This is your go-to thing. Make sure you've got enough arrows, and everything in the room or game is gone. And what you want to do with that, you want accelerate. That way it makes the rapid shot even faster and concentrated over time, so it goes faster and faster each time. Chain reaction and bonus shot, and that way you're basically just spamming arrows everywhere whilst they're kind of like doing chain reactions all over the place. These 3, in my opinion, on this crossbow are the best by a mile. Then for the Renegade armour, what I've got on here is Cowardice. Cowardice is probably one of the most underrated things in the game. Obviously you look at it and it's a common, so a lot of people don't really worry about commons. They think, right, obviously I'm just going to go straight for the powerful ones, they're the ones you want. That's not the case. This gives you 40% increased ranged and melee damage when you're at full health. Now there's ways to actually make it so that you're always at full health if you wanted to, or in my example I just use it so that when I get to a boss they're blitzed. So I've got protection. Protection is very good on this. And final shout. Now final shout is good, but honestly you could pick something else in its place. If you found something better, change it up and get that instead. This, I really like final shout. I try to have it on most of my builds, but I think you possibly could get something better. To be fair, if you had the one that's the potion, where once you tap your potion you've got 90% negated damage, I think you'd find it hard to ever die. But final shout is still good. And finally, for the axe, we've got the whirlwind. Now I'm going to show you a build on this that not many people use. Now critical hit, for some reason not a lot of people use this. This is just amazing, absolutely amazing. And along with the 25% extra speed, it really shines on this weapon. Then I've put gravity on this, and that's just for grabbing adds. So it's quite good on this. It wasn't what I was after. I was after radiance so that I could get all of my health back. If you had critical hit, radiance, and this next one, I am hands down sure that you would never die with this build. You would have to be very unfortunate and get blown up by a lot of creepers. Now this one is, in my opinion, another of the most underrated things in the game. Don't just look at the ones that are common and think that you're not going to need them or want them because they're underpowered. This gives you 100% bonus damage. That is huge, absolutely huge. So what you could do, if you could get the perfect roll on this build, I would say probably change the Renegade armor for the 90% damage reduction when you use your potion. With this one, I would probably change the gravity over for another one of these if we could get it, because I'm sure they stack, because I've had another item that's got stacked items on it, stacked attributes on it. 2 of those would make this kill a boss in, I have no idea, maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds. It would just absolutely decimate everything in the game. And if you've got the other thing on it that gives you the 90% negate damage, you're never going to fall over anyway. But if you didn't want to do that, you'd put Radiance there, and then you could just walk through everything without even needing to worry. As soon as you're hitting A, they're going to fall over and you're going to get healed. For these, what you'll want to have down here for your artifacts would be the gong, no matter what, the gong of weakening. That's what gives you the damage. And Death Cap Mushroom for the extra speed. This one you can kind of put in a preference of your own. I like Totem of Regeneration because where I've got Final Shout on, when I get hit under 25% health, it will automatically apply all of these. So if I see a big circle underneath me, I press it again straight away and I've got a double regen on. It's not going to save your life if you're already at 20% health and 2 creepers come towards you, but most of the time you're fine. This is a very tanky build, but like I said, if you wanted to make sure you never ever died, you would put Radiance on or the 90% negate damage for the armor buff. But yeah, as you can see, I'll do it once more, the damage it actually dishes out is ridiculous, as you saw with that boss. So hope that's helped you guys out, and if you want an absolutely awesome build that's not quite the same as everyone's using with the Fighter's Bindings, this is definitely the way forward. And like I said, if you could get it, what you'd want to do on this one, take away the gravity, because you don't really need it. It is good for getting the mobs, but you don't 100% need it. Or if you wanted to, if you put Radiance on this, you could put the same gravity effect on the armor. I'm not sure if it's actually called gravity actually, but it bunches them up every 2 seconds, I believe. Or you could go for 2 of the committed and you would decimate every single thing in your path, and then you'd want the 90% damage reduction. Right guys and girls, I hope that's helped you out a little bit. I think this is an absolutely amazing build. I'm going to be bringing you a few more over the course of the next couple of days and weeks, and hopefully there's some interesting stuff for you. If you liked it and you'd like to see more Minecraft dungeon content, then hit that like, hit that subscribe, and welcome to the Sofa Squad. Oh, and hit that notification so that you get notified whenever I make content. Take care all, and see you all next day.